John,
How are you?
cheers. What's up, beautiful people? Nutritional essentials and how to build a long-term stable lifestyle change around nutrition. First and foremost, I'm just about to rant. This is about to be 3 to 5 minutes of me going through the scientific basis of nutrition, okay? There's a lot of BS out there, and so I just want to hit this off early and fast. So if you want to learn how nutrition actually works from at least a rough essential lens, here's the importance.
I'm going to sit here and look pretty.
What was that?
I said, I'm going to sit here and look pretty for
I'm
the
going
next
to
5
sit here and
minutes.
look pretty. Number one, calories. There's no way around it. I don't know how many times we can talk about it in different podcasts, different episodes. There's no way around it. When it comes to nutrition, the foundation is controlling calories. We can go into quality of calories for different reasons, but again, anyone who says that controlling calories and caloric deficit, caloric surplus, caloric maintenance isn't the foundation to fat loss and general health, they're just naive. They don't understand how to control variables. There's just no way around it, okay? So number one, you have to understand how many calories you're consuming a day. Now, we can go into this a little bit. It doesn't mean you have to track calories necessarily, but you have to understand caloric intake is the foundation to fat loss, fat gain, and general health. Number two, macronutrients. This is where the carnivores come into play. This is where all the different diets come into play, is they start talking about the hierarchy of macronutrients: proteins, carbs, and fats, okay? And of that, macronutrients, protein, carbs, and fats, there's actually a hierarchy of importance. Number one, protein. If there's a certain amount of amino acids your body can't manufacture, and you need to eat specific complete proteins in order for your body to maintain muscle mass, different metabolic functions. So if you're not getting a base level of protein in your diet, you will actually slowly waste away and die, aka the frugivores. There's like the fruitarians. There's other ones out there.
What?
You didn't know there's like this called like frugivores. All they eat is fruit. They don't eat meat or vegetables. Yeah. Apple.
The computer company?
Yeah. Who owned Apple?
Steve Jobs?
Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is a frugivore.
Really?
You didn't know that?
No, I had no idea.
When he went through his cancer, he went fruitarian, and it's actually went into why he died. He didn't want to get traditional. Yeah, when he had pancreatic cancer, he became a frugivore, and didn't want to get like traditional treatment. Fascinating. You're a multi-billionaire, and
You don't believe in medicine. But anyway,
that's a whole other thing. But it's super important to know protein is the most essential because of different amino acids, so on and so forth. Second most essential when it comes to macronutrients is actually fat. This is where the carnivores and the keto people and that whole community have their merit, which is you do need a base level of fat in your diet in order to control hormones and hunger and different things like that, vitamins and mineral uptake. Finally, the least essential of the macronutrients is carbs. Carbs are not bad for you. They're just the least essential because your body can break down we'll just say different things in the body to make sugar as needed. This is why when people go low carb for an extended period of time, they don't pass out because their body can actually manufacture sugar. So going back to the basics, number one, calories. Number two, macros. And of that, protein's the most important, then healthy fats, then finally carbs. That's number one and two. Number three, we can talk about is whole foods, fruits and vegetables, vitamins and minerals. As you prioritize more whole foods, eat more fruits and vegetables, eat more meats, lean, all that kind of stuff, and you limit chips, cookies, Doritos, all this kind of stuff, the fiber and the whole food of what you're eating is going to help with how you feel. It's going to help with hunger. It's going to help with vitamins and minerals, which helps a lot of different things. So number one, calories. Number two, macros, prioritizing protein. Number three, prioritizing whole foods and fiber over hyper-processed foods. And then finally, the least important, but something you can look to incorporate, is mealtime and meal frequency. So intermittent fasting, by condensing your food window, can help you control calories. At the end of the day, the biggest issue there is be careful doing OMAD, because one meal a day is probably not enough to maintain optimal like protein consumption and consistent amino acids into the bloodstream, which can affect muscle growth. So while it's not true that you don't need to have 5 small meals throughout the day, realistically, one meal a day, you're not going to be optimizing. Again, it's
It's
goal
just a pain in
dependent.
the ass to eat 232 grams
In one meal,
sitting. Yeah.
savages. Like good
Bro.
luck trying to
Yeah.
get 200 grams of protein in one meal. It's just the odds are not in your favor. But flip side of the coin, you got the bodybuilders out there. It's like you need to eat 5 small meals throughout the day. No, technically no. Like you do need to have more than one or two. Do you need 5 or 6? Probably not. It's somewhere in the middle. But I wanted to hammer that really quick and early for nutritional essentials. Calories number 1, prioritizing protein number 2, and obviously healthy fats number 3 inside of number 2. Number 3, prioritize fruits and vegetables, and then finally you can talk about meal timing, meal frequency once you have all that under control. Science.
I don't know, guys. Feed it. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe.
All right, now I just numbed the all right, everyone's listening going, all right, that was number 1, too much, too sciencey. Now, let's talk about nutritional essentials when it comes to sustainability for us. Like for example, John, 7 years in, you've probably had some adjustments nutritionally.
Yeah,
but
don't get me wrong. I'm 8 years in. Don't
8 years in.
Yeah.
Sorry. 8 years in now, which is terrifying. Like,
Yeah.
because I remember when like 3 years ago, I was like, oh, I'm 5 years in. Now it's 8.
I know, it's nuts.
Time flies. What have been some of the foundational principles that have helped you with sustainability 8 years in?
For me, obviously, definitely prioritizing protein, and for me, meal prepping. So when it comes to like frequency of meals and stuff like that, I mean, I've definitely gone through a bunch of phases. I'm still working that out to this day. You know, I feel like life is nothing but seasons, and you know, you're not supposed to stay the same forever. So right now, I'll be honest, I'm actually having problems prioritizing protein and staying on top of my protein goal and eating enough. I'm under eating right now. But that's because I've not leaned into meal prepping all the time like I was. So for me, I feel my best when I eat between 3 to 5 meals a day, depending on the size of the meals. That's when I feel my absolute best. When I actually have a routine of when I'm eating, what time I'm eating, if all that is like laid out in front of me, I'm optimal. I am totally game on. But you take me out of that routine like I am right now, like I've been over the last 8-9 months, I'm a little bit all over the place just because I tend to forget about eating sometimes. And I know people are just like, you know, there's some people out there that just can't relate to that. And if you would have told me 8-9 years ago that one day I would be sitting here saying, oh, I forget to eat, I'd probably laugh in your face. But definitely for me, meal prepping and scheduling out meals is definitely where I am my best.
Okay. And then when it comes to meal prep, are you cooking? Are you using a company? What are you doing?
So it's a mix. It's definitely a mix between home cooked meal prep, and then I also am sponsored by a meal prep company, so I get bulk chicken. I get just like pounds and pounds of already grilled, already grilled, already cut up, already flavored meal prep chicken. It just saves time. There's nothing worse than like, you know, going through your whole week, having a great weekend, and then realizing on Sunday that you're behind the 8 ball and you need to cook, 5 to 7, meal prep options. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of like where I'm at. And then like when I don't order from my meal prep company, I'm very basic. I can eat ground turkey and rice every day if I really had to, or ground chicken and rice every day if I had to. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
I mean, I'm the same way. It's like my general flow is I cook up 3 pounds of chicken titties, 3 pounds of 91.9 ground beef. I have the base set, and then I can take that base and make the wraps, the burrito. You experienced it, like burritos, the wraps.
Oh, it was so easy. Being by the condo was like just the easiest living, because it was like being here, but actually remembering to eat, because everything was just already done and organized. I have to say, being in Michigan, I even said it to my wife, like really set me back on eating regularly. Because we really did etch out time every day to make sure that we ate. Yeah, there was a couple of days where like we were just like, oh my God, it's 9 o'clock at night and we barely had a meal. But like for the most part, we were steadily having at least for the minimum a high protein lunch and a high protein dinner.
I mean, that's always been me, which is like a couple essentials that have helped me a lot. Number one, I have no problem eating enough calories.
Right.
And so intermittent fasting, we talked about that as the final one. I tend to wait till noon or 1 to have my first meal. And I have set a pattern that I eat at noon, 4, and 8 pretty consistently. So like noon, I'm having a meal. 4, I'm having a meal, and then 8, I'm having a meal. Like that.
I'm just not hungry in the morning. It's nothing against breakfast. It's just I'm not, and I love eggs, but you know what? I'd rather eat eggs at like 12:30 afternoon than I would at like 9 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? I don't know. For me, my morning is like get up, get out of bed, brush my teeth, do cardio, have a cup of coffee, have some water, and then start whatever work I need to start working on. And then I don't think about food until kind of like right around now. We're recording this, it's 12:47. So like I'm starting to get a little bit hungry, but I'll probably be ready to eat if we get done with this like 1:30, 2 o'clock, then I'll probably have my first meal then.
Yeah. Same thing with me. Actually, it kind of caught me because we were in between.
Right. We were in between
everything
times
going on. And so like I still haven't eaten today either. And so I'll have my first meal right after this. But I think that's super important. So like essentials, I think I don't want to tell people like because it's super important when we get into the nitty gritty of meal prep and all this kind of stuff. I love Tasty Shreds to death. Like his meal prep ideas, Absolutely. What he does, super cool. Personally, long-term sustainability, doing that kind of stuff, I just don't think it's sustainable.
So that's my wife. So my wife is very Tasty Shreds. Like they would get along so well. Yeah.
Okay.
So like my wife loves creating regular dishes and making them protein heavy and like simplifying them and making them more healthy and stuff like that. Like they'd be 2 peas in a pod, those two. But for me, sometimes like I'll turn around to my wife and I'll be like, this is great and this tastes awesome and I love it. But sometimes I just rather the simplicity of ground turkey or grilled chicken and rice and throwing hot sauce on it and whatever, because it just gives me peace of mind. Because I remember the whole toxicity of starting my weight loss journey and people being like, well, if it tastes good, it's probably not that great for your weight loss journey. So like that kind of had me stuck for a little while. But like, my wife, she'd be whipping up like crazy things like Tasty Shreds all the time. Like I know his go-to is like a protein tzatziki sauce. My wife be whipping up some crazy high protein Greek food and making some crazy tzatziki sauce that's high protein. So yeah, I mean, she just likes to do that. Me, on the other hand, I hate to cook.
I just don't like the time.
The time, right? I hate the time. I hate the cooking process. I just rather be able to just grab and continue.
See, I'm just grabbing. I meal prep everything up, and then obviously both of our lives are in that way where it's like grab, go, move on to the next thing. And I think it's fun from time to time. Like for example, when Billy was up chefing up some of the different meals at the beach house during the production of the doc, like he did that because let's be honest, the beach house, my condo, there's some indulgence foods there. They're not heavy. Like it's mostly the yogurt choices.
The beach house than there was.
Okay, the beach house, not the condo.
Yeah. Condo, there was nothing. Condo, I was eating cardboard rice cakes and beef sticks.
We were bringing out 90 Girls Summer.
And then one night, why my stomach hurt.
It was ratio yogurt, the Quaker rice cakes, the beef sticks,
rain energy drinks,
and meal prep.
And I look at David 2 days and I'm like, dude, my stomach is wild.
That's how we eat every day. But that's like why I don't make freaking. Everyone watches these meal prep videos for me, or like in general. I'm like, I eat the same shit.
I could never do what I eat in a day. People would be so turned off or so bored.
Yeah, I just don't like.
Like
yeah,
I would have to
but
fake it like every other shitfluencer does.
it's super funny because like I've met some people. I won't name names of this part, but it's like people that make those intricate videos of like, and they low key behind closed doors are like, I'm so sick of making all these crazy videos for nutrition when it's like I just want to eat some chicken and broccoli and
Yeah.
some vegetables.
Yeah, fact.
But it's like you create this brand identity and like you feel like you're cheating if you don't hold to or true to it.
Dude, there's I have to be honest with you. It's so simple, but there's really nothing better than ground turkey, some onion, some soy sauce, some garlic over some white rice. Like I don't care. Like I could eat that 9 ways to Sunday and be absolutely content with it.
I think that's an essential like that people need to find is you need to find your 3 to 5 meals that you enjoy.
Right.
Hit the calories, hit the protein, get some fruits and vegetables in there, whatever that's going to be. And I get mocked for my fruit on salads, but I love my like lemon poppy seed type salads that have like blueberries and strawberries and all this kind of stuff on it. Lanisha, if you're watching this, stop judging me.
Your pickles and tuna. Pickles, tuna, and mustard.
Pickles, tuna, and mustard. Like when I'm thinking low, like when I'm really trying to be just high protein, low calorie.
Listen, I'll put mustard on anything, dude. But I mean, that's just fuck.
My Ninja Creamy. I've been like when I'm on a heavy cut phase. Oh, I lean heavy on that Ninja Creamy for my sweets.
I will say Ninja Creamy was dope.
You got to experience it for the first time.
Yeah, I've never experienced. Yeah, no, it was absolutely. It blew my mind because it was way better than I thought it was going to be.
Bro, it's so good.
Me and my wife want to get one. We just don't have the counter space for it yet.
Yeah, and
the only thing is, it sounds like a Black Hawk helicopter taking off every time
it's
you use
loud as balls.
Yeah, that's the only
loud as balls.
So if you think you're sneaking ice cream, you're making ice cream at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and you're sneaking it from your significant other, forget it. You're waking up the entire block. Yeah, yeah. You're gonna be thinking you're getting invaded.
Oh, too funny. Yeah, it's like you live in an apartment complex with a bunch of close neighbors. You're screwed.
You're gonna be the most hated person in your building.
All right, actually, but this actually works out really well when it comes to nutritional essentials and finding that foundation. Let's be honest, the last couple days at the beach house, it's funny how we're doing this documentary on the Anti-Diet Diet Club, community, long-term, like what the truth behind extreme weight loss from all the different lenses. We indulged at the beach house.
Yeah, we did.
We definitely indulged. We had pizza, we had all types of stuff. Like It's just life. How did you come back? Like you kind of made a comment to it where like, but even though like when we were together and we had some intentional meals that kind of brought some momentum back to you, you come back to New York and what is that sequence of events to get you back in routine?
I'm not even there yet.
I'm still not there yet? Okay.
I mean, I think, what's today? Today's Tuesday. So yesterday was like my first day back because like I got off the flight and then I immediately drove out to a family party in the Hamptons. So like that was catered and barbecue and it was wild. And then I drank that day. And then Sunday, I kind of took it easy. I don't remember where. Oh, no, Sunday. Yeah, Sunday, I kind of took it easy. Kind of got a little bit more back on track. Had dinner by my parents' house and just had like some grilled chicken and some skirt steak and some salad. So I would consider that more back on track. And then last night, my wife and I, just stuck to the basics and just had turkey and chopped ground turkey, and rice. So yeah, that transition for me, is way easier now than it was 5-7 years ago. I can literally just flick the switch and just be like, okay, now we're back to meal prep. And I have to be honest with you. There was a huge time in my life where like I would, let's say, go on vacation or interrupt that normality and be off plan. And then it would be so difficult to get back on plan. But now it's like it gets to the point where I can't wait to get back on plan. Like it's almost like I'm sick of indulging and I just want to be back in that.
You feel bloated and all this kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
No, like that's always a big one too. And I think we talk about that a little bit in other stuff that we're coming out with, but like some of that dynamic of when one of the essentials to me personally, like again, there's no perfect way.
Right.
However, I'm a huge advocate of you're going to inevitably have more unless you want to live your life in ultimate scarcity and ultimate fear and never have a slice of pizza again, ever
Like
again, or
right.
yeah, for a long period of time, you're going to have to reincorporate and build that better relationship. Personally, I would rather you learn it early and just screw up early and then slowly build it than go 5, 6, 7 years
Right.
and then go through that sequence regardless. That's just me. If you think it's necessary for you to take extended periods of time, that's fine. I personally did it early.
John, I have to be, I did it late. And I have to be honest with you, like, I don't know if it was just like years of stressing about stuff like that, but like now that I allow myself to just eat what I want for the most part when I want, like I don't hammer myself like, oh, you can't have that, or like, sometimes you have to have a slice of pizza, right? Like just because like you're going to do something, it's just like the quickest option. Like sometimes that's life. Like, I don't know. That's just what it is. So like I used to stress that stuff all the time. And I think that it stressed me out to the point so much that like my cortisol levels were just always up. I was always bloated. And then now that I just kind of allow myself to do my own thing, I've dropped more weight now than I kind of did during that whole, like I'm down 70 pounds in a year. Yeah, there was definitely some things that happened within that year that quicken that weight loss, but like I was initially on a cut last year when I left Michigan. You know what I mean? So like now that I allow myself to just kind of go with the flow of life and I don't overly stress these things, like of course, yeah, there's still some things that I just like I won't do. Like I'm just not the type that's gonna have a bowl of pasta anymore. It's probably gonna be protein pasta when I do have pasta. But like, I'll allow myself to have the slice of pizza now. I'll allow myself to, have Taco Bell now once in a while. And I don't stress it and I don't question myself. And I think that has done so much more for my mental health, which has done so much more for my actual weight than anything, because you keep your stress levels down and like, you don't allow yourself to get so wound up over tiny, minute things.
Yep.
Again, if you're coming from a place where like, you're kind of still stuck in that food addiction, or like, that you can't handle going to Taco Bell just yet, then I'm not speaking to you. But I'm speaking to the person who's been on this weight loss journey for 4 years, 5 years. They're down a significant amount of weight, and they're still fearing carbs. Like, brother, I felt you. I understand what that's like. Didn't have a real slice of pizza for 7 years, and that was just a very, very dark and bad place to live, because then you villainize food. And once you villainize food, you get down this like slippery slope of developing an eating disorder. You know what I mean? Like it's so easy to turn your weight loss journey into an eating disorder that like you really have to learn to prioritize nutrition to a certain level. Like you really do need to know what the importance of protein, carbs, fats, and all that is, and just have a baseline knowledge of it. Like you don't need to listen. I'm not the science guy. I've never tried to be the science guy on this podcast. I don't, because I personally, it doesn't strike my fancy. But for David, on the other hand, David will tell you the exact molecules that make up a piece of fucking white bread, and that's what he gets his rocks off that way. I don't know what it is, but he loves it. But you don't have to be that guy. You really don't have to
say adenosine triphosphate to me. Yeah, say it. Adenosine triphosphate.
What is that?
It's ATP. It's a mitochondria, the powerhouse.
Oh yes, the powerhouse of the cell. Yeah,
ATP is.
My man just went back to ninth grade and expected me to remember it. I don't even think I was in the class that day. I don't remember that at all. I do know the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. That I will forever remember.
No, 100%. And that's why it's super important to me when it comes down to, it's super important to me when it comes down to why I just hit the essentials for nutrition like right at the beginning. Calories, prioritize protein, prioritize whole foods and fiber. You can talk about meal frequency if you want to. But from that, did I say anything is 100% off limits? No. Because it can't be. It can't be. Now, good luck having a nutritional lifestyle that incorporates a large percentage of pizza and still hitting a calorie goal, protein goal, and whole foods and fiber.
Correct.
Like, does it mean you can't do it? No. It just means you, like, for me, I think it goes off of what you were saying. I used to have a cheat day, cheat meal mentality. And I can promise you, when I swapped that up, because I did that for a long time, it wasn't daily, it wasn't 1 to 2 meals a week. I did cheat days for the longest time. And the cheat mentality,
A week or at the end of the month?
once a week.
Once a week.
Once a week. And sometimes sometimes I would say on average 2 to 4 times a month. So sometimes it was once every like 7 to 10 days. It wasn't exactly once a week, but it was that general. But the mentality I had during it was cheat, which it wasn't like a little indulge.
It was like
cheat.
go off the rails and do what you want.
I would eat a whole large Domino's pizza myself with 2 to 3 cups of ranch. I'd have a chocolate lava cake and a cheesy bread, and I would eat that whole thing to myself. And the issue there is I can promise you do this hyper restrict cheat type mentality, and it leads to binging, and it leads to you actually eating more calories.
Absolutely.
Than like what I do now. Like, I'll have actually more 1 to 2 slices of pizza now, and I'll actually indulge a little more frequently, but a little less extreme.
Right.
And I actually find it easier to control my weight better.
Me too.
Because I'm not so extreme with the volatility of calories.
Right. Of the up and down,
like,
up and down.
You can get just so volatile with, so like,
unless you're on a bodybuilding prep, you know what I mean? Like,
there's not much around that. Like, that's when you get into bodybuilding prep, you have to control everything. That's why bodybuilding can lead to a lot of mental and nutritional like issues, because it's just so freaking restrictive.
Absolutely.
But like, honestly, that is like nutritional essential to me, outside of what we talked about with the 4 basics, is finding a more balanced approach of indulging. Because like, it's just if you're white knuckling 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 6 months, and you just eat chicken and broccoli or whatever every single meal,
you're gonna explode at one point.
You're gonna explode. And there's actually power in falling off plan, intentionally or unintentionally, and just getting back on routine a meal later, a day later. That's like working a bicep rep on strengthening your biceps. Every time you make that off plan, on plan, you make that sequence back, that's repping you towards sustainability.
Now, also, I mentioned this in the doc, in a portion of the doc, but I'll say it again on here too. Like, the reason why I didn't have a slice of pizza for 7 years was also just like, it was beyond the carbs itself too. So like, for me, I've said it on here a bunch of times, but pizza was a security blanket for me. It was an emotional attachment. It was something that was guaranteed going to give me that dopamine hit to get me through my day when everything else sucked. You know what I mean? Like, you have to understand, like, I was having pizza 8 times a week, you know, like, and I wasn't just having a slice or two. I was having several slices. So for me in my weight loss journey, I knew for a very long time that like that emotional attachment had not detached itself yet, and pizza was beyond a food for me, you know. And when something like that is beyond a food, and you have that connection to it on an emotional basis, or you romanticize the food, you know, that's the only time where I'll kind of say, all right, time and place for everything. Maybe you're not ready yet to enjoy the pizza, but that doesn't mean that all doors of carbs are closed for you, you know, because again, there's a big difference of fear of carbs and emotional attachment to food that could possibly send you down a spiral if you're not ready for that yet.
It's like my dad with Hostess cupcakes.
Correct.
To experience that.
I did get to experience that, and I did get to experience a frozen one myself, and I'll never eat Hostess cupcakes the same way again.
Bro, it's okay. So here it is, guys. This is gonna, now again, I'm not saying this in like a support, but perfection's a myth. Dad's a cardiologist, and he eats 1 to 2 Hostess cupcakes every night, frozen before bed. Like, that's been his thing for years.
So good frozen.
Years. And like literally every single night he has a frozen Hostess cupcake. You get him a Little Debbie, he'll literally punch you in the mouth.
So I like Little Debbie. I'm a big Hostess of Drake's guy. I've been eating Hostess of Drake's since I'm a little kid. So like when he told me that, and he put me on, bro. He put me on, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, you guys stick them in the freezer." And I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, you'll never go back to eating them the same way again." So he was like, "Listen, I'll let you know my private stash is in this freezer right here. Feel free, because the more you guys take, the less I'll eat." So we kind of jumped on that decision.
We kind of bonded.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. First of all, we bonded on that because he totally blew my mind. Because at this point, I'm like, listen, bro, I've been 520 pounds. I think I know like how to eat most every food. So he put me on game, and then like 11:30, 12 o'clock the following night, we broke into those bad boys. And let me tell you something, brother. I will never, ever, ever eat a Hostess cupcake unless it's frozen. Bro. He really put me on game. Like I was shocked.
It's too funny. And then all of a sudden you sit there and go like, yeah, and he's in solid health. He's 72 years old. Like like in this, you can't have any processed food and be healthy and both. He's fine. Like,
He's great.
Stop. Yeah.
Ray's
So
the
again, it's super funny. Like that whole thing of just like, you can't eat that stuff. It's poison. It's like,
Again, time and place for everything. I will say that until I'm blue in the face. I really, truly believe that.
all right. So nutritional essentials, obviously calories, protein, prioritize fruits and vegetables and whole foods, mealtime, meal frequency. We want to talk about it. Building more sustainability in nutrition, meal prep, getting back to routine as always. Cause obviously as like when you go off plan for an extended period of time, the bloating, a lot of stuff, it does like the diet culture community doesn't necessarily have it wrong when they say hyper processed foods can lead to make you feel like shit. Like
Right.
no one's denying, but again, it's the extreme fear of it is the issue. Like you eat a bag of Doritos, then you're gonna die of a heart attack. Like stop it. don't have all Doritos, but like stop it.
Right.
But so like as we kind of wrap up these nutritional essentials, what are some of the final like thoughts that have brought you to build more balance as of late?
I guess it goes back to the whole progression over perfection. Perfection is a myth. I mean, this whole thing is a learning experience, right? So like the things that I'm saying today, I would have never said on my day one. I would have never said on my year one, year two. All this has taken time, and you have to truly trust this process. If you don't really trust this process, you're going to end up in a danger zone, and you really do need to take the time to learn the basics and why the basics are important. You need to understand truly what calories are, how they affect, like why you need a certain amount of calories every day, why you can't be in an extreme caloric deficit for an extreme amount of time, and why that's not sustainable. But also it also comes down to just like you need to fuck up too, right? Like you need to have those experiences. And sometimes people like you and I, or other people in this space who are content creators and whatnot, us just telling you based on our experiences sometimes isn't good enough. And you really do need to experience it yourself. Again, that doesn't mean go order a whole pizza pie right now because JR said to go enjoy a whole pizza pie right now. But like, you have to learn a little bit on your own.
Oh, I 100% agree. Like you can't. It's like riding a bike. You can read books on it all you want.
Right.
You can do all this kind of stuff all you want, but until you actually do it, there's nuance there. That's why it's like outside of the four basics, there's so much friggin' nuance of people are in this position for different reasons. Yeah. And some people, it's not even a food issue. Like they don't actually have this food addiction, food obsession. There's other things at play that are actually the bigger role in, maybe it's alcoholism or what other things going on that you need to take on and attach yourself to and look from. And like obviously the doc perspective, anti-diet club, the community, what we built, like it's way deeper than just, hey, calories, protein, move your body more.
Right.
And like that's important because it's just gets you some important, like that gives you some more perspective on how to help the majority of people. Because if you just say it's the one size fits all, everyone's just overeating calories.
No, that's not true.
It leads people to contextually not understanding things, and you're not going to actually. That just means you're lazy.
Right.
And when I say that, I mean educators and people just saying that, they're being very intellectually lazy.
Correct.
Not allowing for all the nuance to be talked about. Just because, again, we can talk about calories till the cows come home, but there's depth that you have to talk about when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to relationship with food, when it comes to relationship with yourself.
Absolutely.
That if you're not willing to have those conversations, you're being intellectually dishonest. Like, or
I mean, there's definitely levels to this. You can't say every overweight person is solely just addicted to food. Food addiction was not my thing. Yes, I just had a whole rant before about me romanticizing pizza. That's the only food that I will ever say there was a slight addiction. But that's because it was an emotional attachment, right? It wasn't like I was like, trying to inject it in my veins type of thing.
Yeah.
For me, we all know this, but like my weight gain was very medical. It was very, very medicinal side effects, medications, yada, yada, yada. So like everyone has a different story. David's is because his parents loved him too much. That's why he was fat.
It was so much fun. Like every single person going, David, we all came from trauma. Your life was fucking sunshine. I've been saying it. Don't act like I haven't said my life was sunshine.
He really has. Truthfully, it's not like he lied. I've just never seen a more loving family.
Parents.
It's great. It's wild. It's so weird. It's fucking strange. I just don't understand. You got people crying their hearts out, talking about all this past trauma in the doc, and there was David like, I don't know, my parents really loved me. Like they always they proud of me, and I went to a good school, and I don't know.
I had an indoor basketball court and gym in my house.
I just really like Judd's Pizza Man too. I just really don't know what to tell you. My mom just didn't know at the time they knew. I know. And then his dad walks over to me and goes, I just want to let you know, I was at work during all this. I had no idea what they were eating. So,
and the only argument Dad and I had was couldn't have, like, he got mad when I'd have cheesy bread and pizza because he's like, that's the same thing.
Step a bit. It's literally pizza and deconstructed pizza. Which is great. Right, listen, I love pizza and cheesy bread.
We did it. Actually.
We did do it.
We did it. So, last kind of nutritional essentials, you kind of teased at it. What are like 3 to 5 on the go meals, snacks, grabs that hit you, and you're just like me, I like no matter what, Premier Protein Shake and a Quest bar,
right? 100%.
Like that's
for me. My grab and go options. Good. I'm a big fan of flock chips. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but they're basically like pork rinds that are made out of chicken skin instead of pork skin. So there's no carbs or anything like that, and it's higher protein. Another one, again, I'm a very big protein snack guy. So I've always wanted to start a series about protein snacks. But anyway, so Wild Chips. Wild Chips are very similar to Flock. They're another chicken-based protein chip, but they're not like pork rinds. They're more like a chip. Obviously, Quest chips. These are things I have in my house at all times, by the way, guys. And then a brand of beef stick that's very similar to yours, the one that you keep in your house.
Costco.
Yeah. I forget the brand that we have, but yeah.
It's mine's grass-fed, grass-finished.
I want to find the ones that you have because they're slamming. They're Costco. Yeah, those are really good. For 100 calories, those long boys were slamming.
Yep, 10 protein, 100 calories. Keeps my 10% ratio in total calories and protein. Good to go.
Absolutely.
That's how I always do snacks. Like generally, like obviously perfection's a myth, but my general rule of thumb when I'm snacking on something, I'm looking at the back label. All I want to see is do my calories and protein line up. If it's 230 calories, I want to see around 23 grams of protein. If it's 180 calories, I want to see around 18 grams of protein. It just simplifies things, makes things easy.
Now, I will say this, because I just talked about snacks. Now, if you're the type person who's like me, and you're very all over the place, and when I say that, like, you're on the road a lot, you're in and out of the house a lot, and maybe meal prepping or sitting down for a meal is not something that you can always do, but it is something that you do majority of the time. Find a local meal prep company that's close to you, buy a couple of meals, keep them in the refrigerator. That way you can just grab them, have them with you, maybe pop them in a microwave or just eat them cold. I can't tell you how many times I've just eaten meals, protein meals cold, like meal prep meals cold, because I don't have access to a microwave. But when you have that option and you know that it's there and you know that it's ready for you, you don't have an excuse as to why you can't have a protein packed, meal that meets your calories. Like, you have to give yourself the option to win. If you don't give yourself the option to win, you will never win.
That is an absolute essential. If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. And you can get away with it for a day, you can get away with it for a week, but you compound lack of preparation over a year, you're gonna fuck up more than not.
Absolutely.
Like, you already have that issue. So like now, as you build more sustainability, you can get a little bit more lax and find that balance and make you that pendulum. It's like so many things. We talk about pendulums. In this journey, you're going to be too restrictive, then you're going to be a little too indulgency, and then you're going to slowly find this sequence. And as long as you understand it's a pendulum and you're slowly finding your sweet spot, there's no wrong. But yeah, like, I know that, number one, I can go to any gas station pretty much from here to Bangladesh. Now, it does hurt my soul because obviously Costco through and through, and I'm fiscally conservative. Knowing that you can get the Kirkland protein bars, which are glorified Quest bars, for $1 instead of $4, I'll get Quest bars.
See, I can't eat the Kirkland ones because all the Kirkland ones have cashews in them. No Quest bars have cashews in them, so it messes me up because I'm allergic.
Okay, that makes sense. No, allergies are bullshit.
No, they're not.
Not
but there is this page that started popping up, and it's some allergists, and it's some people that really think their allergies are bullshit, and they get like anaphylactic.
Oh my gosh.
They go to anaphylaxis like me, but like they still eat the food, and I'm like, are you fucking stupid or stupid?
Bro, it's like flat earthers. Like, there's so much of it's just wild how people will just grab a hold of something that is so damaging, but they're gonna do it anyways because their feelings, their opinions, and they're willing to literally harm their body for the sake of. I'll never. All right, I was on a call with this individual. This individual was 75 pounds overweight. Realistic.
You know this person?
No. This individual is a mindset coach, law of attraction person, all this kind of stuff. Again, I believe in certain aspects of law of attraction. You attract who you are, and vibes and all this kind of stuff, and energy. There's like, where's the balance between science and just foo-foo sunshine and rainbows and all that kind of stuff? This person proceeds to tell me that, and again, it's John and I have had this conversation. Cortisol, for example. We've seen it that when people have a really bad relationship with certain foods and they're fearful of certain foods, when they eat it, they get elevated cortisol spikes above other foods based upon their emotional attachment to it and the fear of it.
Correct.
Now, what are the clinical implications of that? What is it actually doing? That's up to interpretation, but it's observable. Like, it's just like placebo effect is observable. We don't necessarily understand it, but it's observable. This person proceeds to tell me that if you truly believe a cookie is an apple, it'll fuel you like an apple.
Oh, yeah, sure. Absolutely.
I think we talked about
100%. Yeah, 100%.
This person was 75 pounds overweight.
I truly believe that my tequila is water, and I am going to get hydrated off of this bottle of Patron. Absolutely.
And I was like, results deem knowledge. You don't even have the result. You're 75 pounds overweight. So don't tell me that this works when you don't even have the results. But this person 100% in their belief system had to believe it to be true because it was. And like, I'm trying to be respectful about it, and I'm trying to find a balance. And I'm just like, you're just making shit.
I got no words.
I was just like, you could believe that cookie is an apple all you want.
Yo, this Big Mac right here is like 6 pieces of grilled chicken
salad.
Yeah.
Grilled chicken salad.
Grilled chicken salad. That's what I'm going to do now every time I sit down to eat. I'm just going to tell my food what it actually is. That's not buffalo chicken. That's chicken titties.
That's chicken titties.
That's not a cheesy gordita crunch. That's a turkey wrap.
It's a turkey wrap with extra vegetables. All right, you rascal.
I really can't believe this went 45 minutes. I'm shocked.
We started getting a flow. I'm honestly towards the back end. We started really flow. It was a hard conversation because you know me. When someone says some foo-foo, I love to I try to challenge it. Like, I don't try to shit on your life, but I'll
shit on your life.
I had a hard time not just being like,
guys, I spent like 9 days with David. He's a totally changed man. It's wild. Fucking insane.
all right.
Thanks for joining us.
Final thoughts. Calories, protein, eat more fruits and vegetables, mealtime, meal frequency, find some balance, indulge in moderation, stop fearing food. If you're not setting a plan, you're planning to fail. Don't believe you
can't magically just turn food into another food.
You can eat that Snickers all you want. It's not an apple.
That Reese's peanut butter cup, that's a Quest bar, damn it.
It's a Quest bar.
I'm going to be doing this all day now. I'm just going to look at random food in my house.
And remember, guys, this is a you versus you game. Our way of doing this, there are hopefully you can attach with them some things that fit and sustain your lifestyle, but this is for you. There are hard sciences and there's nuance. And so this is a you versus you game. You're building the best version of you, has nothing to do with us, and you're living and building this process is something to build a healthier and happier you. So, yeah.
Stay beautiful, stay sexy, stay accountable.
Totals.